AI can't make new ideas. It can only regurgitate old ones in different ways. I just think it's an important distinction to make when talking about computer music versus AI's involvement in music, because they just feel so different. One of them feels very human to me and very just like an extension of human invention. And one of them feels a little bit like a deviation from human-made art and human involvement. My name is DJ Dave. I'm a live code artist. I make electronic music. I'm a producer and a DJ and a writer and a performer. And I use live coding in all areas of my process, and I'm based in LA. Live coding mainly is using code to make art in a live setting. Live coding can be visual art, it can be music, it can be poetry, choreography. There's all sorts of stuff that you can do with it.
Every generation of artists inherits a new instrument. Today, that instrument is artificial intelligence. As AI transforms the music industry, electronic musicians are at the center of a new creative frontier, one filled with possibility, uncertainty, and profound questions about authorship itself. Fake audiences, machine-learned melodies, copyright challenged in real time. When a song could be generated as easily as it can be streamed, what does it mean to be authentic? Long before the computer became Dave's instrument of choice, she spent years playing whatever she could get her hands on. To understand what she's doing now, we have to look at where her relationship with music began.
I think growing up playing instruments, I always knew that I wanted to be on stage. There's something about this that I really enjoy. When I learned about live coding, I was like, this is a way for me to use an instrument to perform the genre that I like, which is just like also a crazy thing to discover. So this is the live coding manual. It's the first textbook that's ever been written about live coding. It was published in 2022, and it has all of the most important live coders at the time. This is my friend, Lil Data. I think with DJing, I'm a DJ, so like I know all the challenges it comes with. I know how much skill it takes to perform a good DJ set. But with live coding, you're actually performing all the instruments, triggering all the sounds live. It's a much more in-depth way of actually performing electronic music. That was the thing that opened my eyes to knowing what I wanted to do. When I'm starting a new song, I feel like I usually start with some sort of melody idea. So it'll just kind of like riff on this random scale. And I'm gonna bring this even down even more. And then after this, I might do like a bass line. And then I'm gonna transpose it up an octave and down an octave at the same time. And then I'm gonna add a little kick drum. And then I can visualize the whole thing with a punch card. So then you start to see like what's actually going on, you know?
What happens on stage isn't automation, it's interpretation. Dave writes the music, or the code, off stage, then performs it live, shaping it in real time, one decision leading to the next, guided by instinct and experience. From the outside, it can look like a machine doing the work, but it only works because a person is.
So we're at the Echo. I have my biggest headline show ever in a month here, and we're just here sound checking and visual checking, make sure we're ready to go. I've done shows before that were really exciting, but I mean, to get to be like a headline act as a live coder at a venue like this for 2 nights, it feels really good. What you see here is a score of the song. You can literally see all the instruments on the side, like which ones are being triggered. I do that because there's like a big emphasis on transparency in live coding, letting people like look under the hood into the process that you're using to give people sound. I think transparency is a really important element of this whole process, because especially with the way the tech landscape is set up right now, we're not always granted transparency. I would actually say more often than not, things are intentionally obscured for us. We're surrounded by like algorithms and things where we're like, we literally do not know what's going on behind the scenes. Live coding is also just a really refreshing area of technology where what you see is what you get. You're always gonna be able to see their screen and their process and the live coding environment they're using, the language they're writing in, which brings a different type of energy to the event, because there's some people who are dancing, having fun, just like enjoying the music. And there's some people who are like stationary, looking at the screen, trying to understand what the performer is doing.
Today, it's not just the performance people care about, it's transparency. A new tension musicians everywhere are navigating. Audiences are asking, How much of what I'm hearing is really coming from the artist? How much is AI? And what happens to an industry that feels like it's being disrupted from the inside?
I mean, I think what worries me the most is putting such an emphasis on incorporating AI into the creative process that we genuinely lose the humans that are a part of it. And not like they would lose interest, but like they would stop getting paid for stuff. The creative process of writing and making music would be devalued and those people would be out of jobs. And then honestly, art would cease to exist.
AI is changing the music scene right now. A year ago, I had never heard of any AI artists topping the charts or being at the top of editorial playlisting or anything like that, right? And in the last year, we've seen at least 2 dominate Spotify in the R&B space and in the country space. I don't like that, personally. I think it's a little disingenuous and a little weird if it's not being pitched as that from the jump. Art, to me, is the most pure form of human consciousness being expressed in a physical form. And I don't think the soul and the love and the passion of that can be recreated the same way.
The main thing that AI-generated songs and AI-generated artists do is create revenue for whoever's using it. I get a lot of comments from people around AI suggesting that I could make the general process faster, which I've always just thought was like a really funny angle, because I'm like, I'm not a corporation, like there's no like real goal besides making music and like having a creative process for me. So there is nothing to streamline. There's no way to streamline finding inspiration or like moving through the creative process.
I think the physical process and the making of the music is the most beautiful part of making music overall. AI can never replace those moments. I think AI is gonna create opportunity and possibilities just like technology has for artists. I think it's gonna come down to how people use it. And I think the argument in the industry is, well, it's taking away from someone who has true talent. But then the argument on the AI side for the person who created this AI artist is that there was talent that went into creating that artist. And there is creativity in that. And I think you're gonna find a very split opinion from a lot of people. We either believe in it or we don't. I think AI is coming no matter what. So to some degree, we have to figure out either how to get ahead of it or how to work with it and how to utilize it in ways that make music better.
If you're approaching the music industry from a way to make money, then it makes sense for you. AI-generated artists specifically, we see them being created for a label to not have to pay an artist. AI-generated songs are made so that you don't have to pay a producer. Anyone who's in the music industry for the sake of making music or the sake of interacting and uplifting art is just not relying on AI to make it.
AI doesn't accelerate creativity, it bypasses it. It may generate songs instantly, mimic human emotions, and simulate audience appeal. But when the process disappears, so does the perspective behind it. Because music has never been about the sound. It's about the life that shaped it. In a world of infinite content, intention is what makes something real. So how should artists respond in a fight for authenticity?
For someone who's thinking about how they can get their name out there, I think it's really important to genuinely be like, what sets me apart? What makes me different from other people? Obviously, there always has to be a huge element of authenticity to that. Like, there has to be something that it genuinely represents you. For me, for example, when I learned about live coding, I was like, I know I want to make electronic music. I know I want to make dance music. And I'm obviously also producing in this very unconventional way. So I was like, I'm going to lead with this unconventional method and then also be working on my music and making sure it's always really good. And I think having that just kind of odd method of production really caught people's eye early on, and I was able to just follow that. This is the thing that sets me apart. I'm always gonna stick to it. I'm always gonna make sure I'm doing it really authentically. I think just finding that thing that makes you different is really important.
That's a wrap on, baby.
Yay!